Hey, welcome back to the cook up. It's your girl Najah Lee, and you are now tuned in to her court, her rules, and y'all already know what time it is. First and foremost, happy Saturday. I hope your day is getting off real good. It's 5:10 where I am, 5:10 p.m. EST. And we about to kick it and turn up a little bit. Real briefly, okay? Real quick, because this ain't nothing but a recap. Okay. So highlights. Dana Evans shined. Okay. The stars aligned. And Dana did what Dana does best in the playoffs in pivotal moments. We're going to talk about Dana Evans. You know, we got to talk about the gold Mamba. Okay. Loyd tapped in and unlocked her Mamba mode right on time in the finals. You hear me? Okay. We didn't need it. We might have not needed it in the semis. Okay. But we dang gonna show need it right here in the finals. We're gonna talk about it. And then, moreover, more importantly, the Aces big three completely locked in, y'all. Man, I'm trying to tell y'all, if y'all didn't watch the finals, the game one of the finals, y'all definitely missed out on an incredible treat because I mean they were lit the entire game. It was slow pace for the regular season, but high pace for the playoffs, specifically the finals. So let's go ahead and kind of get into the game a little bit. Let's break it down. Let's look at some stats. Maybe you guys will learn maybe about some people that maybe didn't make the stats and kind of make the stats go crazy, but still had a great game. So we're gonna talk about that and let's get right into it. First and foremost, how y'all doing? Hold on, let me get something up on the screen for y'all. Boom. All right. So this was the final score Friday. Okay. And we're gonna talk about some keys to how the Aces won the game, how Mercury lost the game, and then what they can do better next game, whether it's the Mercury or whether it's the Aces. Okay, so let's talk about it a little bit. All right, so obviously this is the box score, right? This is what we're looking at here, right? And the box score, the final game was 89-86. So as y'all know, it was a super duper close game. Okay, super duper close game, right? And with that close game, man, I told y'all before yesterday on the last episode, right, that I'm not gonna talk about the refs during the finals. You feel me? The refs shouldn't dictate a game in the finals. Okay. So all the crying and complaining about a ref, you know, we missed our chance on that one. We already used that one up, okay, for the regular season and for the first two rounds of the playoffs. When the finals come though, ain't nobody got no time to be talking about lack of officiating and maybe it's too physical and all that. Baby, it's the finals. Okay, it's the finals. Pull up, do your job, and get busy. It for me is that simple, right? For me is that simple. So let's talk about some impact players of the game and what I noticed. Okay, so first and foremost, let's look at this quarter breakdown. I like looking at the quarter breakdown because quarter by quarter, it that alone tells a little bit of the story, right? First quarter ends, it's tie ball game. First quarter. Now, let's take it back to the beginning of the game. Phoenix got off early, right? They got off early. They jumped on the Aces early. And the Aces' biggest issue this entire season is getting to a good start. How do we get off to a good start? How do we take a, 8, 9, 10 point lead early and hold that lead, right? The first quarter in this game one of the finals, the Aces had to fight their way back into the first quarter because it started out looking a little, it was looking a little away. Okay. And I was like, oh, I don't like how this is looking for me and my gals. But at the same time, we built for this, right? Shout out to Indiana Fever, although y'all know how I feel about them for real, for real. But shout out to the Indiana Fever because the Indiana Fever was the best training camp for the finals. Um, because we beat such a hard, such an aggressive, such a fast-paced team, it's gonna help the Aces in this series, in this final series, because Phoenix play a similar style of ball, right? They have a lot of motion off the offense, a lot of screen and rolls. Okay. You have to make sure that you are not just watching the ball because your man will slip and cut. That and also Alyssa Thomas, similar to Chelsea Gray, can just make magic happen when a ball is in her hands, right? And so when we played Indiana, when the Aces played Indiana, and their style of basketball, that gritty, that in your jersey, that style of basketball that never quit, always on the glass, definitely always on the offensive glass. Y'all know how we got spanked on the offensive glass against Indiana, right? All of that is going to help the Aces potentially defeat the Mercury. Now, again, when we talked yesterday, I said, like, even though the Aces beat them 3-1 this series or in the regular season, we can't necessarily look at that as a telltale, like a way to predict the future. Oh yeah, the Aces are going to beat them 3-1 in the finals. No, 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 no. That's not going to be the situation, because in my mind, every team, both of these teams have leveled up. Not only leveled up during the regular season, but they definitely have leveled up after the season, postseason, right? They're the Mercury is playing the best defense that we've seen in all the teams this playoff. And the Aces has obviously, I mean, the Aces, they got multiple goats on their team. You got the goat of all goats, right? In Asia, she's working on her way to be the goat of all goats. In my mind, you got the goat of point guards. You know what I'm saying? The goated passer, the point god. And then you have the GOAT two-way player, the GOAT two-way guard right now, right? Jackie has been the best two-way guard in the WNBA for quite a while, but I think her offense has taken a level up, especially her strength and how she could just finish through the contact, right? Jackie Young, if Jackie Young played football, right, she would be a perfect running back, because those yards after carry, right? Everybody know that. Those yards after the touch, you feel me? That's what Jackie Young known for. Similar to Alyssa Thomas, she can take the contact and eat it and go right through it and still get to her bucket, or potentially, her and one. So looking at this first quarter, man, it's showing us that, hey, this was a tight game to start, right? They just had to fight back into the game and really make it competitive. And they did that. And they did that. Both teams, I would say, I'm on Threads, y'all. So when y'all pull up to Her Court, Her Rules, and y'all like, share, and subscribe right here on YouTube, go ahead and pull up on Threads, right? It's the Twitter for Instagram, like Instagram versions of Twitter. Pull up on Threads as well and follow Free Your Lens there as well, because I live tweet a lot of these games. In the finals, I'm gonna be live tweeting all these games, right? And during the live posting on Threads of the game, I'm like, yo, one thing's for certain, two things for sure. This a damn good game. Okay. Now I'm an Aces fan, and the first half had me hollering. In both good and bad ways. I was specifically the refs, and I think the officiating was had drastically improved the second half as compared to the first half. I think the second half was way more balanced officiating, and I think the first half, the officials, the Aces just couldn't. Asia couldn't get a whistle. Jackie, Chelsea, nobody could get a whistle. And again, I'm not gonna complain about no officials in the finals. This is the finals, baby. Officials ain't gonna cost you no game. Not when you got 7 of them. Not when last year y'all only had 5. So even if the officials mess up and you like, oh, that last call, if it would have went our way, well, you got 2 more extra games this series. Get to it, right? No excuses. No excuses. So we're not making no excuses for officials. So the first half, right? You go into the halftime, you down by 5 points. Okay, cool. I'm not mad at that. Now let's look at the second half, because the second half is where stuff started getting a little murky. Okay, I'm gonna pull up another stats here, because the first half, man, stats for both teams, specifically the guards, pretty good. Let's look at Kalia Copper first. We're gonna break down team by team. So what up, Miss D? What up, Miss D? Thanks for pulling back up to her core, her rules. Miss D is at her core, her rules faithful. Always pulling up VIP. Appreciate you always. You heard. So yeah, how you feel about the game yesterday, man? That was crazy, right? That game was crazy. Yo, if yesterday's game is just a sneak peek of the next 5 games, I say because I got aces and six. The next 5 games, we gonna have every game gonna be a barn burner, nail biter. You feel me? And I'm cool with the barn burners. That's what I want. I don't want blowouts. I do not want blowouts. Even if it's my team blowing out the other team, that's not what I signed up for. I signed up for great competition. Okay, so let's look at the great competition in the first half. Great segue. So first half, I like to look at these stats, and so we can see who was really making an impact in the first half and how that may have potentially changed in the second half. First half stats: Alyssa Thomas had plus minus a 6, so shout out to her because Dewana Bonner, her partner, had a minus 6 plus minus. But again, she off the bench, so you can't really trip on that. Becky did play Kia Stokes for 14 seconds. Hey, listen, remember we was like, yo, Kia Stokes, when we put up the who gonna get in? Well, no, Kia Stokes not getting in. However, basketball, as you know, right? And Ms. D left-handed, so I know she got a little ha. Basketball, as you know, is a situational game. So remember when we was talking about who Liz gonna check and this, that, and the third, and what other big is situational. That last stop of the game, which was an incredible defensive play, you needed length and speed because they were only going for the one shot, right? So if they only going for the one shot, you got to contest the one shot. So you can't play a Nalissa, you know what I mean? You can't play her, you can't play KB, you got to play speed and length, right? So instead of playing Nalissa, who may be lacking in the speed and length department, they put Kia Stokes in there, right? So damn near went with they old starting 5. You know what I mean? Sub out Kelsey Plum, because you think if Kelsey Plum is at the end, this is the end of the game, Kelsey Plum not on the floor anyway, right? So you probably would have had Tip Hayes or Clark in there in the game, which is similar to like a Jewell Loyd. So another guard defender who can switch, who can move her feet and contest the shot. So man, that shout out, that defense was incredible at the end of the game. AT played crazy down the stretch, missing key free throws. Hand was injured late. That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing that, in the game, she was holding her wrist, and I don't know. I hope she is I hope she's okay for the next game. Yeah, missing those free throws were critical game. Missed free throws. I mean, missed 2 critical free throws. And one would say it cost them the game. You know what I mean? It truly cost them the game. Now, however, you have AT miss the free throws, and then on the other end you have Jackie Young make the free throws. In that situation, you would assume that AT is gonna make the free throws, but the issue is that AT is not your best free throw shooter. So she on the fast break, draws the foul and then misses the free throws. I'm sure they are going to look at multiple things in that game that led up to a 1 point or 1 possession difference, right? And overall, I don't know if they could have did anything that was too different, either team, to dictate the ending of that game, even the last minute or so of that game. I mean, I would say out the gate, that Asia getting stripped in the paint, was a key turnover, right? But AT going for the steal on Asia in the paint is a hell of a defensive play, right? So AT, that's why you gotta love AT, because she doesn't mind being aggressive, and AT doesn't mind taking the risk. You know what I mean? Taking a risk. And that's why every year in my mind, AT is top 3 DPOI. Like, she this year she could have split it with Asia if they gonna split anything with anybody. Okay. So I'm thinking, you know what I mean? They could have split that with AT, because so much she's so deserving of that. It did cost them the game. It would have put them up 1. Yeah, because they were down 1, right? And hitting them two would have changed it. Now, however, though, even if she would have hit the 2, they still had time. You feel me? There still was time on the clock, so it may not have won them the game. Because what if the aces, Jackie and or Asia, do the same thing? They still had a good amount of time on that clock. So if they go down there and draw a foul, you know what I'm saying? Now they can either tie it or win the game. I just knew that John was going into overtime. I'm like, oh yeah, we're going to OT, baby. We first of all, let's start the finals game 1 with overtime. I mean, why not? Why not? So I was lit just off that. Like, yeah, let's get the OT, because I'm turning. Now, hold on. I was getting a little bit sleepy, and so I'm like, damn, we might need to wrap this one up. But I was here with it. I was here with it though. So let's take a look at this real quick, right? So this is the first half stats, and we're gonna see how different it is. First half, Alyssa Thomas was 5 for 6, right? Kalia Copper was 6 for 8. Satu was 2 for 4. Monique Akol Makani 0 for 1. Natasha Mack 2 for 3. DeWanna Bonner 2 for 6. Sammy Whitcomb 1 for 4. And Catherine Westbell 0 for 2. Okay. That was the first half individual shooting attempts, right? Attempts and makes. And in the first half, I said, damn, they can't. Phoenix not missing nothing. Look at this: 5 for 6, shooting 83%, 75%, 50%, right? And this is from 3 practically. Natasha Mack couldn't miss. DeWanna Bonner was 2 for 6, but we know DeWanna Bonner can't be streaky. Sammy Whitcomb missed some shots. Okay. But overall, your hitters, Alyssa, Kalia, and Satu, were shooting well above 50% as a big 3. And again, remember yesterday when we talked about shout out to Her Core Her Rules, shout out to Tessa, again, another Her Core Her Rules VIP faithful. Appreciate y'all for pulling up and getting to the chat and talking to me. Remember what we were saying yesterday is this game is the 1v1 matchup is key, and the big 3 matchup is going to dictate the series. Which big 3 shows up every game, right? Consistently all game, every game, right? Not just the first half or not just the second half. It has to be all 4 quarters. And the first half was lights out for their big 3. Okay, let's come down to our big 3 or the Aces big 3 if y'all not Aces fans. But if you ain't an Aces fan, girl, come on now. What you doing? Come on now. Let's just talk about it. All right, Ajawilson was 3 for 7. Chelsea Gray 1 for 3. Jackie Young 3 for 8. Okay. The big 3 here is shooting subpar. They're shooting below 500. The big 3. But remember yesterday I said, hold on, let me put this slide back up here. Hold on. Here we go. Remember yesterday I said this. I said the bench, Dana, okay, Jewell Loyd, and Megan Gustafson. But the guards are key and critical. Megan just has to make sure she's efficient when she is on the court. She's not going to get a lot of looks. But when she get those looks, I need 50% clip from the looks. Whatever looks she get, I need her to shoot 50% from, right? So we talked about how important the 1v1 matchups were, but specifically Jewell and Dana, and they needed to match whatever DeWanna and Sammy does, right? And I said we were going to see the guards on DB. We were going to see that. We were going to see the mismatches all around the court. And it's the Aces' job to decide, how we going to defend that mismatch? And if we were just going to live with the mismatch, live with the switch and get it out the mud, and just try to defend the best way you can, right? Little bit we got a little foul trouble. You feel me? We got a little foul trouble, but at the same time, I'm not mad at foul trouble when you just playing good defense. I don't like messy fouls. I don't like catty fouls. I don't like, oh, I got beat, so I'm just gonna foul. No, I don't like that. But if you are really defending and you get called for the foul, that's cool. I'm with that. But on the offense, though, again, we had to match the firepower that we knew we were going to see with DB and Sammy. Now, the first half, hold on, put this back up here. The first half, we didn't see a lot of Sammy, right? We didn't see a lot of her impact. She was 1 for 4. So if that's their second person off the bench outside of DeWanna Bonner, both of them 2 for 6, 1 for 4, right? So they both collectively shooting 30% collectively. Okay. Now, again, I said they had to match those two firepowers. So what did we do? Dana Evans and Jewell Loyd in the first half are both shooting over 50%. Clearly over 50%. And look at the shot attempts. 11 shot attempts, shooting 6 for 11 and 4 for 7. Okay, compared to their 2 for 6, 1 for 4. So already, obviously, the shot attempts, the Aces are getting better looks. Now, how do the Aces get better looks? How do the Aces get better looks? First and foremost, there's a clear difference, and maybe y'all see it. There's a clear difference between when Chelsea brings the ball up the court and when Dana brings the ball up the court. And I watched it several times. When Chelsea brings the ball up the court, they don't get into the offensive set until the 18 to 17 second mark. Okay. We get the ball at what? We got 24 seconds on the shot clock. So we already down 7 seconds just by Chelsea bringing up the ball. Because again, my OG really the OG. You feel me? Now, when Dana brings up the ball, the pace instantly, I'm talking about the moment she steps on the court, the pace goes up. Why? Because Chelsea is off the ball now. And y'all know the craziest thing about the point guard is she's an even better passer when she doesn't have to be the sole point guard. Like when she doesn't have to be the point guard and she can be the point guard. That's why I've been a big proponent all season long to start Dana. Now, I understand that takes some energy off the bench, right? But that also does also empower Jewell Loyd to be a hitter off the bench. So in the first half, we got Dana Evans played a strong 10 minutes, shooting 57%, right, and was perfect from 3. Jewell Loyd played a strong 17 minutes. Again, look at this. Look at the contribution. Jewell Loyd, remember I told y'all, you can be on the bench, come off the bench, and still play starter minutes. Yesterday, when we did the matchups, and I talked about how important it was for Becky to figure out her rotations and lineups in this series, I said, okay, so if they start KB, more than likely, she only going to play a few minutes. They're going to start her, but she's not going to be playing starter minutes, right? Instantly, first sub, Jewell Loyd. Oh, Jewell Loyd cooking. Jewell Loyd cooking. Second sub, Dana Evans. Dana Evans comes sub in for Chelsea Gray, right? And Alyssa Smith. So they went small. So when they sub KB out, they also sub Alyssa Smith out. So again, Asia likes to play with a lot of guards, or specifically shooters. If those shooters are bigs, it is what it is. But she likes to play with a lot of guards because Asia likes to move at a high pace. She likes to fly down the court. You know what I mean? Fast break. She want to get down there, post fast, or push the ball, push the point now, right? On the fast break. So she can do both. And so when we were watching the game and we're looking at this first half, and I'm like, yo, if Jewell Loyd don't match or go above and beyond what DB is doing, then it's going to be tough for our bench to compete, because on paper and statistically this season they have a better bench. But in reality though, like when if all of their bench, and they really only playing 3 players off the bench, right? They not playing Kalani Brown. So they playing Catherine, they playing Sammy, and they playing DB. So they got their 3, we got our 3. So we got an 8-man rotation, and the Aces had to play a little bit of Aaliyah yesterday, because Jackie is on the sideline, getting some work, and then Chelsea, rolled her ankle a little bit. Well, she ain't roll her ankle. It was Kalia Copper, big old Adidas that slid under her Adidas. You feel me? So the bench presence is important. It's key. It's critical in this series, because I'm not so worried about their big 3 or the Aces big 3. Okay, because I think consistently this series, I think all parties of the big 3, both of them, will show up, right? I think they will show up. That being said, what's going to change the series? It's got to be the bench. It's got to be the bench. So let's talk about the bench, because again, Dana Evans went crazy yesterday, and I knew she would. Okay, so this is the first half. Now this is the first half stats. Dana Evans is shooting 4 for 7. Okay, let me go to the box score here, and then boom, boom, boom. Let me pull up another one for y'all. Okay, hold on. Okay, share this one. Okay, so Dana Evans, where we at? Okay, so overall, she played 25 minutes. Okay, 25 minutes. Jewell Loyd played 34 minutes. Jewell Loyd played this almost the same minutes as Chelsea Gray. Jewell Loyd played more minutes than Jackie Young. Okay, Jewell Loyd, Dana Evans played more minutes than Nalissa Smith. So again, when we talk about the situations in basketball, it really just depends personnel who's going to be on the court. It really just depends on the op. It depends on what personnel they have. If they have more guards, unfortunately, Nalissa is not going to play. Fortunately, KB is not going to play much. Although KB made some big shots, some really big shots. She shot well. She was 2 for 3, 1 for 2 for 2. And she made, some critical shots in that first quarter to kind of like get us back in the ball game. But overall, I don't expect to see a lot of KB if they are playing small basketball. Again, Alyssa Thomas usually is their big. Her and DB can be their bigs on the court. They don't necessarily have to have a big. So when you have that, you got to contend, you got to contest. I thought it was very interesting that Alyssa Thomas was being guarded by guards a lot yesterday. Remember we talked about how the switch, they're going to do the pick and roll, and Becky has to figure out what she's going to do. She's going to go over the switch. She's going to try to drop, hedge, cover, you know what I mean? Or you just going to simply switch. They just switched the pick. They just switch. If they couldn't get over, switch it, right? Switch it. Communication is key. Communication is key. There was a moment in the game where Asia is like right around the half court line. She know AT is they taking out the ball. AT about to dribble, right? Dribble the ball down the court. And Asia is saying, talk to me, because she know the screen coming. That's their offense. You got to talk. You don't want your player to get laid out from a screen. And there were moments in the game where she did get hit with a screen, and Asia kind of like grabbed her shoulder and kind of shrugged it off. So talking on defense, understanding the philosophy about the screen and roll, right? And they listen, the defense was crazy. The defense was crazy. Let's look at this shot chart, because we can actually kind of see how the defense played a game or played a role in a game. Okay. So first and foremost, Phoenix had 30 points in the paint. Matter of fact, let me go back to that other screen. Hold on, summary, because this one is a little better when you're looking at the thing. Okay. All right. So Phoenix had overall Phoenix had 30 points in the paint to Aces 34. Okay. Fast break points. Aces had, is that too, 13 to 10. But here is the tea. Here's the tea, right? This is where the tea get real hot. Okay, get your green tea, put a little honey in it. It's about to get hot right here. 41 bench points. 41 bench points to 16. Bruh. 41. Because why? Dana Evans and Jewell Loyd, Gold Mamba, said it's time. It's time. They want the win. They want to, when you get so close to something, you can smell it. I mean, it was looking like Dana Evans was salivating at the opportunity to win a ring. She was, every time I said, damn. Yo, I was shocked by that. Led by Dana. I'm trying to tell you, 41 bench points, man. Listen. Yo. And then they at one point at like the third quarter in the game, they counted the points off turnovers. It was like 17-2. It was so stupid. It must have been the fourth quarter because overall points off turnovers was 20. It was stupid, right? Stupid. They had 12. Phoenix had 12 turnovers, and we made 20 points off them turnovers. So first and foremost, what does that tell me? That tells me that we flying. We flying because just because you get a turnover, it doesn't mean you're going to score off that turnover because this is the best defensive team in the playoffs. The Phoenix Mercury. So with all that speed and with all that energy, now especially when you got Dana Evans on the court, right? That ball can fly down the court when it's a turnover. We can get going. When you got Dana on top of Jackie and Asia and Jewell. Stop it. Stop it. She's the fastest on the floor and she was pesky with 4 steals. Yes. And you know what else that I appreciate about Dana? Let me pull up her individual stats. What I appreciate about Dana is this though. Because Dana Evans, I think her contribution, even though the scoring is going to be one of those in this game, to me, it was her defense. To me, it was her defense. Again, shout out to JTTVP, her core, her rules, faithful and VIP right here. Y'all, welcome to her core, her rules. Yo, we on the road to 500 subscribers. So if you hear, you pull up, go ahead and hit that subscribe button because this is what we do. We love talking about basketball, high level conversations about basketball and women's sports. So shout out to y'all for pulling up and pressing play. Watching Dana play defense though was what blew my mind. It wasn't her offense because I've been watching Dana for a long time. I've seen Dana go crazy. Dana was an ACC player of the year. You feel me? ACC most improved player. Dana go crazy. Right? I saw Dana cook up in Chicago. I saw Dana cook up in New York. Dana go crazy. So I don't be worried about her offensively. Sometimes I worry about her taking quick shots. But when she's in a good system that is empowering and it's like welcoming and say, baby, spread your wings, go ahead and fly. Yeah, she gonna cook up. But defense, like Miss D said, was key. The defense was key. She can shine because Monique is not as fast as Odyssey. Yeah. But you know what? Monique, she might not be as fast, but I think she's a much better shooter. So she is quick and she's a better shooter. So that's a whole nother level of problems. Odyssey Sims is quicker, a little bit stronger and wanted to get into the paint, right? So with Monique, when she was popping that 3 in the first half, I'm like, oh shit, okay, don't we can't let her go crazy. I mean, she shot damn near 40% from 3 all season. She shot right around 39% as a rookie. I like Monique Nicole McConney. I think that she will have a long career in the W. And I hope that she actually stays with Phoenix. I hope this Phoenix core that they're put together especially with their big three and a Cole McConney. I hope this stays. I hope this is a look that we get to see for the next 3-4 years at least. But when Dana got into the mismatch with DeWanna Bonner again, we said, what you said? Oh, you think DB? You think Dana gonna be on Bonner? Yeah, hell yeah. I think Chelsea gonna be on Bonner at times. Because they run a screen and roll, pick and roll offense. But when we saw Dana on Bonner, and because I love guards that play defense and don't give a damn that they small. I've been small my whole life. That don't mean nothing. I'm in the paint banging with you still. You feel me? I ain't not ducking nary smoke. Where the smoke at? I need that. So Dana in the paint boxing out, right? She is preventing the pass. The defense starts well before your player gets the ball. Before I got the ball, I'm in triple threat. Now you on defense. No, you got to deny, especially when you undersized. You got to deny, prevent, denial, post, make them throw the ball over your head. So she's fronting the post, and Alyssa Thomas many times threw the ball over the intended receiver's head out of bounds. Why? You're only doing that when the guard is fronting the post. And because Dana is so low and she's strong, okay? She's so low to the ground and she's strong. If DB had the opportunity to jump up and get it, she wouldn't have been able to get the right amount of lift and the right amount of spring on her bounce, because Dana is like this, holding her down for real. Like, you're not getting up off this ground. You're going to have to move me. And there were times when Mercury really tried to like move him. Okay, so you can't do that. That's a foul, though. That's a foul. Point guard couldn't hang with her with Monique. No, she couldn't. She couldn't. Nah, she couldn't. But Monique made some good shots though. That corner three that Monique made, it was so fast. That corner three she made, I said, dang, whoo. Hey, hey, don't do that, no. Hey, Mo, cut that out now. Cut that out, Mo. Okay. Shout out to y'all showing love to each other in the chat. Appreciate that. One over here, we one big happy basketball family. You feel me? Spread the good vibes. She did have bad passes to the post. Yeah, a couple bad passes. And it wasn't just Alyssa Thomas. I want to believe it was Satu as well. Again, when you defend, if that offense player has a target, pass it to me. So DeWanna Bonner got her arm like this, and this is the target pass. Boom, pass it over, and they trying to. That's a tough pass to make. The overhead, I'm gonna lead you to the spot. It's a tough pass to make. I mean, we see great passers make the pass all the time, but it's even tougher when your teammate is passing to somebody who's been defended well, super well. Another thing that happened, AT on the switch again. Dana Evans got caught on the pick and roll and ended up having to roll with Alyssa Thomas on the switch. Now most people say barbecue chicken. Well, not if you got defense. Because not only in my time in the past, because I know I can't play you back to basket. If I'm behind you, it's over with. You're going to drop step. You're going up and under. You know what I'm saying? You're going to go ahead and make your two dribbles. I'm going to try to have to foul you or whatever, but it's easy. But if I am watching the passer and I see you trying to seal, and in the midst of the pass, I swim, get around, and get my hands on the ball, which what Dana Evans did. In the midst of the pass, because she is fast, she swam around the attempted seal from Alyssa Thomas and was able to get her hands in there and poke the ball out. When you're a guard and you've always been small, you know how to be small and play great defense. I don't care who I'm on. If I'm checking somebody who's 6'2", I have a way to check you 6'2". I mean, if you Steph or somebody, I'm smoke, right? It's over with. But if you are traditional 6'2", big, and you think you're just gonna back me down and that's over with, then you're sadly mistaken, because it's not that easy. It's not as easy as just put them in the post, back them down. No, No. Satu played like Jonquel, throwing tantrums and jacking up threes. First of all, when Satu get emotional, man, I like the emotion to a certain extent, especially when it's in celebration, right? But when she has emotional reactions to her foul, like you're literally fouling somebody, and then you're reacting to your foul. That's stupid. When she bounced the ball and got another tech, that's stupid. It's those moments that really essentially cost them the game. It's not the missed free throws. It's the stupid shit on the run when the Aces are fighting their way back in and they were losing. They got to come back and try to take the lead again and steal the energy again. It's those type of plays that cost you. So both everybody else was on the court. Alyssa Thomas was like, "Come on, man, bro. Come on, man. What we doing?" DB, like, DeWanna Bonner, a super vet. She like, bruh, come on. What we doing? She made it difficult for big players with quick hands. Dana. Yeah, Dana, again, man, Dana's so cold. She's so fast. When she lock in on defense, it turns up her offense. When Jewell Loyd, hold on. Jewell Loyd was completely locked in on defense, right? But I thought Jewell Loyd was locked in on defense in the Indiana series. Most games, I thought at certain moments, it's very obvious. It's very hard to stay in front of Kelsey. But I thought that she was probably the best defender on Kelsey Mitchell for that series. But Dana and Jewell, although their scoring is key, their defense is even more important. Defense is even more important with them too, because there's such a load that Jackie Young has to carry for this team on defense, same as Asia, to have that relief coming off your bench that, you know what I mean, we need to give Jackie Young a breather. We need to give Chelsea Gray a breather. Like, you have fresh firepower coming off the bench that can not only give you some quick buckets, but can also stop somebody. Got to be able to stop somebody. This game is a game of runs, right? So you got to be able to stop somebody. Let's look at Dana Evans' recent games, right? Yesterday she had 21 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 steals. She shot 61% from the field and 83% from 3. Dog, if Dana keep doing this shit, she's gonna get the Finals MVP. Trust me. I need Becky to play Kaya and Cheyenne. Kia Stokes, my bad. Kia Stokes and Cheyenne, because KB and Meg not giving them anything. But see, Cheyenne probably ain't gonna get no burn. I don't think Cheyenne gonna get no burn because Phoenix running. And so if Phoenix is running, which Cheyenne is not yet ready. It was so crazy for me. I had no idea. Let's just keep it a bean. Yep. Okay. Let's just keep it a bean. I had no idea, nor any valid reasoning, supportive reasoning. Why is Cheyenne Parker here? Why did the Aces even sign her? She was pregnant all season long. Why did, I mean, it in theory, it makes sense. Cheyenne being alongside Asia all season or at the top of the playoffs. But in reality, I've never had a kid, right? But in reality, you can't bounce back that fast from no damn baby. Them little crunch snatchers, come on now, you can't do that. So I just thought it was crazy for them to think, even when they signed her, like, she been on the roster all season. This wasn't a mid-season acquisition. This was at the top of the season. Cheyenne Parker Tyus was on the roster. So I was like, well, damn, what's she gonna do? Is she out pregnant? I mean, she ain't supposed to have her baby till August. How the fuck she supposed to? Women normally take 6-8 months off, at least 3. So I just thought that was a little something. But in this series, unless we would have been playing Atlanta, like, she just really don't fit, because all these other teams are fast and they running. So when I'm watching Phoenix yesterday, I said, yo, thank God we played Indiana, because we really just got the best test, we got the best preparation. They have to do something. Meg was getting cooked, and so was KB. I mean, we can't fix slow feet. That's why we got to beat them with our guards. Unfortunately, we got to beat them with the guards. So if we're subbing in for a big for defense, right, then Nalissa and Kia probably gonna be the only bigs we play. If they got 3 to 4 guards over there, or if they got 3 guards and their big is DeWanna Bonner, then Megan can't keep up with Bonner. She can't. It's crazy also because when I see DeWanna Bonner, when I see Megan Gustafson outside of like basketball attire, she like low-key small. Like she looked kind of thicker with the unis on, but like when the unis ain't on, I'm like, damn, she's small. She like kind of slim. Why she move so slow then? Cause you can't stay with nobody. She couldn't stay with nobody. Also, Becky have to realize down the stretch, Asia has to touch the ball even if she doesn't shoot it. You know what, Ms. D? Pound me. Come on. Because I say this all the time. When you have a not only a super offensive genius out there in Asia, but I'm just a proponent in everybody touching the ball. Like you gotta make 4 or 5 passes before there's a shot attempt. I think that we get more shot attempts and we have a more fluid offense when Dana Evans is on the court because we get into the offense much quicker. Again, when Chelsea is dribbling the ball down the court, we don't get into the offense to 18 seconds, 17 seconds. That's already 7 seconds gone, right? When Dana Evans is bringing the ball up the court, we in our offense at 21, 23. I also think that the Aces, I want the pick and roll to not always come from Asia, and I want the pick and roll to not always come at the top of the key, like or the top wing, right? That it bothers me because when that happens, it puts Asia in the same spot on the court all the time. She's always at that free throw foul line area or like the wings of the foul line, right? I need her to be on baseline. I need her to be on the top of the key. I need her to be all around it. And you only get all the different spots when you are when she's setting the screen in different spots. Otherwise, you know what I'm saying? You do the same thing and expect a different outcome. We all crazy. If she touched the ball, it would make the defense collapse to her leading to easy baskets. Yes, absolutely. Because you always have to have 1.5 defenders on Asia at all times of the game, especially when she has the ball in her hands. It's going to be 1.5 to 2 full defenders on her, right? Especially in this series, the only person that was really checking Asia straight up in the playoffs has been Aaliyah Boston, right? Shout out to AB. But in this series, it's going to have to be 1.5 players. So it's going to have to be whoever's checking Asia and Satu going to have to drop down. You're going to have that. And when you do have that, then it just opens up the offense. I love the way Mercury's offense ran in that first half. I love the way that offense ran. Even in the second half, Alyssa Thomas passed up so many easy 10-foot bunnies to kick it out to the 3 for the wide open 3 because the defense was rotating. They like, oh shit, she down there, she wide open. And all she did was kicked it right out, touch pass, boop, boop, boop. That ball was popping. Right, have her on the baseline so she can drive to get fouled of a pass of an easy backet. Yeah, pass off an easy backet. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying, Ms. D. I feel like we need to be on the bench with them, or like Becky need to be in my DMs. You know what I'm saying? I wish I could slide in her DMs without getting blocked and tell her like, hey, do this tomorrow. You feel me? Because Asia the defense needs to be able to see all the plethora of ways that Asia can finesse you without even scoring, right? Similar to AT. AT can finesse the out of your defense without even taking a shot. Without even taking a shot. So I think in tomorrow's game, obviously we got to see the same type of bench contribution. I don't expect we'll get another 21-point game. Tomorrow, I'm sure we'll get another one, but 21 points off of 61% shooting. I'm gonna need Dana. Go ahead and rinse and repeat. Whatever regimen you had before last game, do that again. Do that again. Jewell Loyd, you wore them Matrix exclusive A1s. Wear them again. Don't put no more Mambas on. I've been saying, don't stop with the Mamba shit. Stop it. Be Jewell Loyd. I know we know Kobe was your mentor. Rest in peace. If I knew Kobe, he would have been my mentor. Yeah, it's always team Mamba mentality over here. But now it's time for you to carve your own shit. Right? Now it's time for you to step out of the Kobe shadow as far as the Mamba shadow and step into your thing, right? So yeah, go Mamba mode. But if you do that all the time, it ain't Mamba mode. It's Loyd mode, right? This the Jewell Loyd. Get your jewels up. Shine with me. You feel me? And I feel like the spark and the camaraderie and the rapport between her and Dana, that synergy, yo, if we keep this shit up, now this was a close game, obviously. We keep this up. I told y'all aces and sixes might be aces and five. Another thing Becky did that drove me crazy. She has Asia screen for Nalissa Smith, not the other way around. Yo. We might be yelling and screaming the same things at the TV. I'm watching the TV and I'm like, it's always big screen for guard. Okay? It's never guard screen for guard or guard screen for big. I want Dana Evans, Jewell Loyd, Chelsea, Jackie, whomever, to get the ball to Asia, top corner, key, whatever, that spot she loved, that 18-20 foot wing part. Yeah, get Asia the ball right over there and set a screen for her. And I want to see if Alyssa Thomas, how they try to defend the screen on Asia. Are they going to try to go over it, under it? Because Asia got the same type of threat. Yeah, she can shoot. Go under that screen if you want to. She's shooting. Try to go over that screen. Well, what can happen if I'm AT guarding Asia on the pick and roll? I try to go over the screen. Well, more than likely, I probably would get in the foul trouble. It's very hard for a big person to go over a screen of a smaller guard, right? So you got big ass AT trying to go over a screen for a guard. She probably gonna go through the screen. Well, what happens there? That's a foul. That's a defensive foul. You can't go through the screen, right? Try to go over it. Well, that's a foul too. Can't do that. Okay, well, let's drop back. Oh, well, you gonna leave Asia wide open for the mid range? Can't do that. Okay, well, let's switch. Okay, so now you got Dana Evans on Alyssa Thomas or Jewell Loyd on Alyssa Thomas. Well, guess what? There's another mismatch. You got somebody else. You got a guard on Asia. So we gotta run. Get sexy with the screen and rolls. Run them up with everybody. Again, when you play basketball, especially the starting five, your starting five, I'm a point guard, you a center. I know every play, right? I know the positions and the route of all five players on this court. I know exactly where you're supposed to be. So that being said, if you know what the point guard is supposed to do and the shooting guard, and you know the routes they're supposed to take, now you can just switch the positions of the people that are supposed to be in that spot. So yeah, this is a point guard route. Okay. The point guard is supposed to be at the top of the key waiting to receive the screen. However, you can flip that. You can say, instead of that being a point guard, let that be Asia. She can dribble now too, right? Yeah, go ahead. Let Asia come off the screen. Put the ball on the floor. Let them figure out how they want to guard a Jackie Young screening for Asia. It's always reverse. It's always Asia setting the stronger. But you got all these big, strong guards. Let them set the screen and see how they react. And see how it's the same way when you have a guard, somebody coming to set the screen for AT on Asia. What Asia say? Talk to me, talk to me, talk to me, because she know a screen coming. And it's coming from a guard. So when that screen coming from the guard, what did the Aces do? We switched. And what happened? We had a guard on a big. And they tried to take advantage of it. But the guards play great defense. At moments, they did take advantage of it. When Chelsea and Jackie had to switch, and Chelsea ended up on what's my girl name? Kalia Copper, right? And Chelsea played great defense, but Kalia Copper has a little bit more elevation in her shot, and so she was still able to get a clean shot off. Can't be mad at that. Good shooter shoot, and sometimes it's just like, all right, bro, you made the shot. Shout out to you. But keep doing it though. Run that on the other side too. Kai got hers off. All right, bet. Let's see what we can get. Run a similar pick and roll. Put Kai Copper in the pick and roll. Okay? And let's see if we can get her on a mismatch. What if Kai is on Dana? Y'all know they played together in Chicago, right? Come on now. They know each other. I was like, oh, you got both of these players, right, who won in Chicago are playing against each other in the finals 4 years later. I think that right there is a storyline in itself. Usually that don't happen. Oh, we won a ring together on the same team. Now we're in the finals competing for a ring on opposite teams. Not even on the same team. Neither of us are on the same team where we won the ring. The storyline in Dana and Kalia Copper is in itself something. Okay? That's something right there. Now, so Dana played a good game. Jewell Loyd played a good game. And overall, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Louisville. Shout out to the ACC. Shout out to the ACC. Overall, now they got me going to Louisville. That ain't what I wanted to do. Overall, the bench came and they showed up. And that's what we knew going into the game. That's what we knew they had to do. Period. Point blank. Let's look at how the Aces won behind a dominant effort from their bench. Dana Evans, let me put this back up here so y'all can see that I'm reading an article from ESPN. Dana Evans tied the 2021 Finals MVP, Kalia Copper, and this season's MVP, Ajawilson, for game-high honors. She had 21 points, making 5 3-pointers and 6 attempts. Jewell Loyd also added 18 points, making them the first with at least 15 points as reserves in the finals game since 2019. Okay. Loyd's 10 first quarter points were crucial to keeping Las Vegas Aces in the game. Phoenix got off to a 10-2 start. Remember, again, y'all, the game started, and as soon as the game, I said, yo, don't stress me out early, Aces, please. Also, again, I told y'all we're going to cry about the refs. The refs the refs hate Las Vegas. They hate Asia. They hate bacon. They hate that. So I was over the first half, but the second half, the game in general, we were cooking. Both teams were cooking. It was a great game. Phoenix got off to a 10-2 start, leading coach Becky Hammond to quickly summon Loyd into the game in place of starter Kirsten Bell. Now, I don't know why Kirsten Bell is starting anyway, but okay. Who played just 5 minutes total? Now, Kirsten Bell had 5 points in 5 minutes, so I'm not completely mad at that. Evans also helped the Aces keep pace with the hot shooting Mercury, who put up 50 points in the first half. The Mercury could not miss in the first half. I was sick. Still, Evans' biggest contributions came down the stretch. She made 3 3-pointers in the final 8 minutes. I believe 2 of those were off of Chelsea Gray assists. So shout out to the point guard. The last of those gave Las Vegas his biggest lead to that point, 85-82, identical to the final margin. All told, the Aces got up 41 points from their reserves, the franchise's most ever in a finals game, and tied for their second point in any 2025 game, regular season or playoff. Now, the Aces have always been, since Asia has been there, but really since Aces, the Aces have always been a starter dominant team. Like, the starters will carry 70% of the weight of the team, so they never really like survived off their bench, or thrived off their bench. But if they bench showed up and did something, it would definitely change the game. But if this becomes 41 points, probably won't be, an average. But if this becomes consistent, where we can get a consistent 30 points off the bench from 2 to 3 players, come on. Remember I said Jewell, both Jewell and Dana need to average 15. They got to, because we don't know how much tick Megan is gonna get. And we know if Megan is not the big coming off the bench, then obviously we know it's gonna have to be Kia Stokes now. And so the only thing that you're gonna get from Kia Stokes is potentially a tip back miss shot. And she might get the wide open 3 from the corner. Like, Kia Stokes can shoot the wide open 3 from the corner, but it's not the shot that we want per se. You feel me? So that being said, I mean, the guards from the bench, they got to carry the bulk of the weight in the finals. Once we get to the offseason, we retool the bench and have another quicker big, you know what I mean? Quicker than Megan. I like Megan, but I would just wish Megan was like I'm a little slower, but like Megan's slower. You feel me? So, but I like Megan. Shout out to Megan. How the Mercury lost. Here we go. Let's talk about the Mercury. Phoenix will probably spend the next 40 plus hours before game 2 lamenting letting the opportunity to steal home court advantage in the series get away. The Mercury led for nearly the entire game and shot 39% on threes to the Aces 33%, outscoring them by 15 points beyond the arc despite Evans' heroics. Phoenix was done in primarily by turnover differential. The Mercury committed 14, including 5 for Alyssa Thomas, who came within an assist of a triple-double, but struggled with the quick hands of Las Vegas' smaller defenders. Meanwhile, the Aces' 7 turnovers tied the fewest ever by a team in a finals game. Talk about a clean game. 7 turnovers. Now, this is a stat I didn't know. 7 turnovers tied the fewest by a team in a finals game. That's, first of all, 7 turnovers in a game. You know what I mean? That's what, like a turnover and a half a quarter, for real. So even if you round up and say 2 turnovers a quarter, that's 2 turnovers a quarter. And a turnover can be a moving screen. So it doesn't have to be a live ball turnover. It can be a dead ball turnover. It can be an offensive foul, you know what I mean? Something like that. Yeah. A charge, it could be something like that. Beyond that, Phoenix will regret being outshot 20-13 from the foul line. In a close game, Satu Sabli's technical foul for slamming the ball to the court after being called for her 5th foul early in the final period loomed large. Again, that we said that game was lost well before AT missed them 2 free throws. It was a little things that was going on, but when you have double the amount of turnovers and that team has 20 points off the turnovers to your 12, when you are leading the whole game and allow a team to get back in the game, whether you allow or they fight back into it, whatever, however y'all want to phrase it, those are going to be very, very tough games to close. And one would think in order to close that game, you got to be perfect. You're on the road. It's the first game. You damn near got to be perfect. The turnovers didn't help. Of course, no free throws were more painful than Thomas's late trip to the line with the Mercury down 1. With a chance to give Phoenix a lead, Thomas missed both, forcing Mercury to intentional foul. Down by 3 with the ball in the closing seconds, they couldn't generate a look, tying shot from beyond the arc. And I want to play this last second. I want to play this last defensive play. Oh, they're gonna cut it off. And whatever, I ain't gonna play it now, so screw it. I was gonna play that last defensive play, and so important with that because everybody moved, everybody contested, nobody said hi. It's just get to the next man, move and stay with your man, and if it's a mismatch, whatever, but stay with him, stay with her. Shout out to Kia Stokes for staying with her. You feel me? Shout out to them for not even being able to get a shot up. Talk about great defense. great defense is before the shot. So deny. They wanted to get the ball to, I forget who Dana Evans was checking at the time, but they wanted her to shoot the ball because it was a little bit mismatched. Was it Kalia Copper? I don't know. But Dana Evans, you ain't getting the rock. You ain't getting the ball. You gonna have to pass it somewhere else. Then Kalia Copper get the ball. She get the ball. She couldn't put the ball on the ground because everybody is You feel me? It's something about you get way more turned up. That's why I love defense. You get way more turned up from preventing them to score, from scoring, from getting a stop, than hitting a shot. That's a bar. You feel me? You get way more lit. You remember when Dana Evans hit the three, and then Chelsea Gray was like, okay, but when they got the stop though, it's the stop for me, because without the stop, man, we might be in OT right now. You know what I'm saying? We might be OT right now. You know what I mean? Or we might be at home lamenting. You feel me? About us not getting a stop. So let's talk about the keys to the next game real quick. What could Aces do to decide game 2? Well, the defense, right? The Aces switched up, and when Kalia Copper was getting all them threes and all this and all that, the Aces Becky said, "Oh, we got to switch the defense, so we got to play zone, right? Play zone. You know, y'all know I love zone. Zone is gonna prove me something about your offense, because not a lot of people play zone. So if you can figure out a way to score on a zone, you good. First and foremost, you can still screen, pick and roll on zone. When they were playing zone with Dana Evans at the top of the zone, at the top of the 2-3, I said, well, first and foremost, I'm AT. I'm gonna screen on Dana. If I'm not gonna be the point guard. I'm gonna let Makoa Akani be the point guard. I'm gonna screen Dana. I'm gonna make Akoa attack that paint as far as she can get. And then once we get there, now we play the kick out and we force them to actually roll. Usually when that happens, you kind of roll out of the defense, and you like, when it's a scramble, you just man up, right? So it can go from a 2-3 to a zone. I mean, from a 2-3 zone to a man-to-man defense in the same possession, just depending on how quick that ball is moving. And if they started to screen on the top 2 defenders at the top of the 2-3. So, I think that for Phoenix, you don't have to shoot your way out the zone. But with Alyssa Thomas, you can screen your way out the zone and create better shots. Phoenix might not have spent much time preparing for the zone heading to game 1, as it hasn't been an important part of Las Vegas's defense since mid-season. The Aces hadn't played more than 7 possessions of zone in a game since July 6th. Per Genius IQ tracking, long before their 16-game winning streak that gave them the home court advantage in the series, right? So there's not a lot of game tape on the Aces playing a zone, because when you go and scout the Aces, you're probably going to scout the Aces in that 17-game win streak or 16-game win streak. However, right, you still got to know what the zone looked like. Okay, so looking at last night's game, I'm sure Mercury is going to come in more dialed into figuring out that zone. The Mercury shot 3 of 14 against the Aces zone, including 1 of 8 in the fourth quarter with an additional 3 turnovers. So the zone was key. It's critical. The zone was critical definitely in slowing down Kalia Copper, because Kalia Copper was cooking. And there was not a one person that could slow her down. You needed a collective. But when that happens, I mean, I saw Kalia Copper hit the 3 over Jackie and Asia. It was 2 people checking her. She still hit the 3. So, how you going to stop the 3? Just put everybody at the 3-point line, and you can only do that in a zone. Guard a space, don't guard a man. So the defense in this series is the Mercury. They have far more shooting to attack the zone. Phoenix missed some good looks down the stretch and should be better equipped to beat it by game 2. Still, the zone could be a useful change of pace for Las Vegas in the series. It also allows Aces to defend Thomas pick and rolls without having to switch and concede mismatches. Perhaps the easiest adjustment for Mercury would simply be to get more stops, since it's more difficult to use zone after a missed shot or a turnover. So, again, the Mercury got to figure out how to do that zone. But if you can still do the pick and roll off the zone, I mean, I hope they not listen to this, and I hope ain't nobody listening to this so they can get some ideas. If anybody gonna be listening to this, it should be Aces coaches and Aces fans only. No, respectfully, everybody is welcome over here. But I'm giving Mercury keys to win this game, even though I don't want them to win this game. My prediction though is that Mercury um, I think it's going to go 6, and I think the Aces are going to take the first 2 on the road, okay? And I think Phoenix are going to take their 2 games at home. And then I think the Aces are going to win the next 2. So, I think it's going to go 2-2-2, Aces 2, Phoenix 2, Aces 2. Aces is going to win game 6 on Phoenix's home court. No need for game 7 at home, and that's how that's gonna play out. That's my theory there. Other than that, I mean, it was a great game. I mean, from just the tempo, the competition, the pace. They actually were, what was the pace of the game? They actually were, they had 700, they had 76 possessions, right? A fast-paced WNBA game, okay, is right around 90 possessions per 40 minutes. A little bit slower, right? So they have 76 possessions per 40 minutes. However, I felt like every possession was like a deciding possession. It was no super long, huge leads. I think the highest lead for Phoenix was 9. And just so y'all can see this, so y'all don't think I'm capped, the highest lead for Phoenix was 9, and the highest lead for Aces was 5. So it was a very close game. And again, I think that every game is going to be a single digit, game, like win margin. It's not going to be 15, 16, 17 points. It's not going to be no blowouts. These two teams are very familiar with one another. And so now it's just a part of which team can impose their will on the next, and then which team can maintain consistency with their game or approach to the game, right? So the keys to the game at the top of the game for the coaching staff and the keys to win, those don't normally change, right? So you'll come here and look at this and you say, okay, for us to win, our bench has to score better, right? Our bench has to, get to at least 25, 30 points, essentially, and definitely keep them around that 25, 30 points. We don't want their bench to blow out our bench. Points in the paint have to be about average. We don't want either team to dominate in the paint. And either team has a great opportunity to dominate in the paint. A lot of Thomas's shots are in the paint, even though their jump shots, their floaters, their one handers. They sometimes they be like a little hooky. You know what I mean? They be in the paint though, so you can't let either AT or Asia just cook your clock in the paint. You want to be able to push them out, and then you want to keep their guards from out the paint. So even though Kalia Copper was cooking in that first half, and she, what I'm saying, she couldn't miss. You know what I mean? Those are threes, right? And threes are great. But what you don't want is your paint presence to be compromised, right? You want them to be scared to come to the paint. You want them to be like, if I come to the paint, I'm getting blocked or I'm getting knocked on my ass. Either one, because ain't nothing sweet in the paint. Everything's hard. Everything's earned. Nothing is given, right? So if they pull up on you, show them something. So the keys to the Aces winning, we already talked about them, but real quick, right? We need the bench to compete at a high level, right? I'm not expecting another 41 point appearance, but I am expecting 30 plus, right? We got to average 30 points off the bench. We have to keep our turnovers low because we do not want the Mercury to get in transition, and vice versa. Mercury has to keep their turnovers low because obviously when we get in transition, we golden too. We golden too. You don't want us to be on a fast break with Chelsea and Jackie and Asia and Dana. That's what you don't want. And even if you got slow KB trailing, well, what we do know is KB can shoot. If KB ever get in shape, she'd be lethal. Yo, lethal. But this whole off season, if she plans on pulling back up to the WNBA next season, she needs to cut. I'm talking about like a boxer cut. Cut the weight. Don't eat nothing for 3 days. Just drink water and get on the treadmill. That's it. Just drink water and run. Drink water and live. Don't eat shit. Okay? Maybe eat an apple or something. Keep it real low. Just get you a little power food, little fiber, okay, little energy. Okay. So the game tomorrow starts at 3:00. Y'all, the job got me working a little bit, so I'll work a little bit, but I'm gonna be tuned, completely locked in at 3:00, and then I'm gonna do a recap after game 2 on Monday. So pull back up here Monday at 6:30 p.m. EST, more like 6:00 EST on Monday. Monday at 6, we're gonna do the recap of game 1. I'm sorry, game 2. And I'm assuming that I'm gonna be real lit on Monday because Ace is gonna be up 2-0. Okay. Okay, that's all I'm saying right there. That's all I'm saying right there. Overall, it was a super incredible game. And I'm just hoping for, that same level of competition and tenacity and all that the next game. I just think that it was crazy. It was crazy. I did pull this up earlier. I wanted to show y'all the shot chart, and so y'all can see. I always come in and look at, because when you're watching the game, you can be watching like, oh yeah, it seemed like they taking a lot of threes or they taking a lot of this, that, and the third, and sometimes you don't really see it. So I come here to the shot chart and I want to see the mix of the shot attempts, and you see where our shots. Yeah, we took a fair amount of threes, right? Fair amount of threes, but the bulk of our business is right here, right here. The bulk of their business is right around there, right around there. So y'all can see where we hot at, where we was kind of cold at, This is our shot charts. So I mean, I kind of like the mix in the shots, right? I like the mix in the shots. Again, they had Phoenix had 8 second chance points, and where's the Aces at? Here we go. 8 second chance points. Aces had 4, right? So going into the game, I was talking about how key it is to limit offensive rebounds, and what we didn't do against Indiana. And we didn't get beat bad, but we did give up some offensive rebounds, right? So I'm not mad about kind of where we finished out, but we still need to clean that up, right? No game is a perfect game. So there is always a level of opportunity, spaces and room for opportunity to grow and do better that next game. And one would think you better improve, because they retooling what they need to do is to defeat you. So keys to the game again, Phoenix, limit the turnovers. Aces, get up on the glass a little bit more. Limit their second chance points. So that means we have to rebound better and not allow those offensive rebounds. Fast break points, we definitely want to get into the fast break, get some easy points. So the fast break points were about equal, but I need the Aces to get a little bit more easier points in transition. I think we had to work a lot for a lot of our shots, right? And Asia missed a good amount of shots that we saw her make all season long. And I think that that's going to change in game 2. I think that the 4-time MVP Asia, offensive MVP Asia, right? Not the defensive side, just the offense side. I think that's gonna be live and prevalent tomorrow. It's an earlier game. It's 3:00. And now they've seen something. So when you have already taken a hit and you already kind of know what to expect, at least for a certain extent, I mean, it's not going to be the whole the whole thing. You played one game. Game one ain't gonna be game two. So, but you did learn enough about your op in game one that was different from the information that you had the first 4 times you played them in a regular season. Again, a regular season and postseason, two different things. You feel me? So that being said, we about to turn up. We can't wait for tomorrow's game at 3 o'clock, and then we're gonna pull right back up here Monday between 6 and 6:30 and do the game 2 recap. Yeah, so it'll be a lot more to talk about on that game 2, because then we have a space to compare game 1 and game 2 and compare both games. She misses a lot of shot in her comfort zone. She had a quiet 21. Yeah. She did miss a couple easy shots in her comfort zone. But we've seen her do that all playoffs though, right? She'll have one great game and maybe a not so great shooting game, right? And the not so great shooting game is literally the same shot she made in her great shooting game. So I think that it just kind of comes and goes, as far as when everything going in, and then sometimes they rim out. We've seen a lot of shots literally rim out. Yeah, same thing with Jackie Young too. Jackie Young shot was flat, and Jackie Young doesn't jump that high when she shoots. I mean, she barely, unless it's a contested shot. To me, she doesn't seem like she gets enough air under her shot. Like she just ain't jumping. I'm like, damn, if she just jump. So, because when I see a Cole or Dana, like they up in it. You know what I'm saying? They feet is clearly off the ground. But when y'all pay attention tomorrow, when Jackie Young shoot, or just watch the highlights, when Jackie Young shoot, she slightly gets off the ground. She might have 5 inches off the ground, right? You maybe even 5 inches off the ground. When Dana shoot, she up. When a Cole McConney shoot, she up. When Chelsea Gray shoot, she up. She off the flow. And Jackie she just gotta jump more, like, because her shots is coming up flat. You know what I mean? They are hitting the front of the rim or the back of the rim. They just a little too flat. So she gotta get a little bit more air under her ball. And just looking at her shot, like her arm is going up. So I know you getting the arc on the shot, and the shot has enough rotation, enough spin. You can see that, but it's just going like this though. It's not, her shot ain't going up and down. It's just, and so if Jackie just jump a half an inch more, I'm trying to tell you, Jackie, you're gonna drain every shot. She tends to jump higher, definitely when she's in the mid range, but it seemed like she take a little bit off the shot when she's shooting from deep, which is crazy because you got to put a little bit more on the shot. So I don't know, but I mean, overall, I mean, who am I? I ain't complaining. Listen, Jackie played a great game, but on both sides of the court, Chelsea played a great game. Dana, everybody, you know what I'm saying, just as a team, they are all stepped up. On the real tip is that Mercury played a great game too. Again, I ain't mad at either one of the teams. It was great games all the way around. So shout out to them. Shout out to the finals. Shout out to the WNBA. I'm not shouting out Kathy. Shout out to everybody in WNBA but Kathy Engelbert. Okay, everybody in the WNBA can get a shout out from me. Even Sophie and them, I'll be so sometimes Sophie be pissing me off, right? Pissing me. But even Sophie, shout out to Sophie, Lexi, Caitlin, last series was hot for me. So I probably gave y'all a little bit of static, a little bit of rhythm that y'all ain't want. Okay, but that's cool though. Meet me outside for real. And we can play the one-on-ones, you feel me? Shoot for dollars. Jackie and Jewell need to go to the basket. Yeah. Jewell, I don't think, Jewell was getting clobbered yesterday just from playing defense. She was getting laid out. But Jewell had a couple things in her pocket, and you kind of saw the Mamba come out of her, like when she had the pump fake and then just the side step, you feel me? And it was a quick side step, right? And then she put the mid-range up and then went in. I said, okay, Jewell doing her one too. Her shot was looking quick. She was running up and down the court with a trot, with a nice bounce. Like, yeah, this is it. This is my time. Keep that same energy though and go to the rack. Jackie was going to the rack, but I think she was bailing out on herself. I think she was going to the rack and being indecisive. A couple times she went to the rack, whereas in Indiana she was going to the rack and she was stopping right before the right before she got to the block, essentially, so she can do her move, right, whether it's a half spin or a euro. She was stopping right before the block and she would do her move. I think yesterday she was getting a little bit too deep, and that way she had to keep her dribble and dribble back out or pass it back out. So in tomorrow's game, I think she'll be a little bit more decisive about when she is attacking, if she is going to take the shot or make a clean, wide open kick pass. And I would prefer her to drive and get and create the contact. But then again, when you in the first half, when you are doing that and you are not getting the whistle, she could have had about 2, 3 and 1s in the first half, but she wasn't getting the whistle. And it kind of will change. It will alter your aggressiveness, right? It can reduce and put a cap on your aggressiveness, or you just reroute your aggressiveness. So you tend to be more aggressive on defense. And so she really was, um, I Jackie, I can't complain about Jackie because Jackie been really that one. Okay, all playoffs on that one. It's weird. I'm just 2 years. Jewell is a completely different player. Maybe she need to look at old game takes of herself. She looked like she not confident. And yesterday was the first time that I seen her in a while, right? That she just looked confident. Like she just looked like she feel good with the ball in her hands. I think first of all with Jewell, I think she need to them jerseys is too big for Jewell. Jewell look like she got on her big brother clothes. Get a size smaller and short, and maybe you'll run a little faster. Because I feel like maybe the jerseys is heavy, weighing you down. She looks swallowed by the jerseys. Them shorts look like them same shorts AI wore, right? And AI his shit used to be hella baggy, right? Damn, they're falling that jersey. Listen, Jewell gotta loosen the shit up a little bit. I mean, tighten it up a little bit on the jersey side. Like everybody else on the Aces team got basketball Daisy Dukes on, right? And we know Jewell Loyd ain't wearing no short shorts. She ain't showing no thighs and nothing. And we ain't asking her for that. But her shorts be down to her calves for real. They be like knickerbockers, right? Like capris. She got on basketball capri shorts. Like, no, man. But to D's point, she had that old Fab 5 jersey on. For real though, like she might as well wear, you know what I'm saying? She might as well be hooping in black Air Force Ones at this point. Cause why is them clothes so big on you, Jewell? Damn, come on, man. But I want Jewell to be more aggressive on the ball. So there was a point, a pivotal moment in the game, and I want Becky to run this more, although it wound up in a turnover. But when Chelsea had to come off the court sometime for that ankle, did y'all notice that Jewell Loyd was actually on point? Jewell Loyd was on point. Jewell Loyd was bringing the ball up. They tried to run a screen and roll with Asia and Jewell Loyd, and Jewell Loyd was on the ball. And Jewell Loyd tried to throw the ball over the hand of AT, to lob the ball to Asia, but you could tell that she was running the play and hadn't read the defense. So it was simple, come up screen. Usually first option of that screen is to pass it to Asia on the lob. Well, it wasn't there. So now what's the second option on that screen? Well, Jewell Loyd, keep the ball. Keep the ball. Don't take the screen. Don't even take the screen. Try to get to the basket and bring it back out. Because Jewell Loyd's step back game is crazy. Her handles is crazy. She just got to tap into them. And guess what? We going to see that. This game, last night's game was ignited by the fourth quarter and overtime of game 5. And the biggest thing about going into overtime is that momentum is now extended because you play longer minutes. So though instead of it being that 40-minute game, okay, you just went 45, right? And so now you got more momentum, 5 extra minutes of momentum, right? That is now has been extended from game 5, has now moved over and transitioned into game 1. The close of game 1 was so impactful to the Aces. That is more momentum. And then now it's stacking. So you have the closeout of game 5, that build up to the closeout of game 1. That's building up. Now you're going to have game 2. Now, game 2, in my mind, they're going to get off to a better start. They're not going to have to fight back 10 points down, 8 points down in the first quarter because they have 2 games of closing end of the game, impactful plays. All that momentum is now stacking, is now stacking, is now stacking. So now you don't gotta wait to the fourth quarter to do something great. You actually can start it in the first quarter and sustain it throughout the game. And so I'm super excited to see how the Aces get up off the court early. I'm so happy that they got that first game in the bag. It just weightens or lightens the weight and the expectations of, hey, you got to get that second game. Even if they don't get that second game, it's important to get that first game. That first game is important because you can't give the road team no inclination that they can fuck with us. You can't. And when you give up that first game, now you got them thinking, oh yeah, I can fuck with y'all. Hey, yo, we know, yeah, we just tip the tie. We just nah. We ain't doing none of that. Ain't gonna be no tipping of the scales around here. You feel me? Um, but yeah, that's what we got. So I got the Aces in 6. I got the Aces winning the first 2. I got Phoenix winning the second 2, and then I got the Aces winning the next 2. You feel me? That's how we got it. That's how we cooking, and I'm excited about it. Again, shout out to everybody in the WNBA except for Stupid Kathy at this point. Don't except for Stupid Kathy. The comments that she made about the comments that they made is really wild, and he really ain't say nothing. Remember, I said, like, hold on, if you didn't like how you were characterized, then tell us what it is. Either tell us you didn't say it, or tell us you said something like that, but you actually said this. So if somebody quote me and say, oh, Naj said ABCD, I can tell you right now, baby, I know exactly what I said and wasn't that. I can run the tape back for you. I can play it back. We got it right here. I know what I said. I know what I said. So Kathy is a goof. Shout out to the WNBA. Shout out to the new future leadership of the WNBA, because we know it won't be Kathy. And the sooner the better. Actually, the sooner the better. Make sure y'all pull up on me on Monday at 6:00. I'm gonna do the game 2 recap, and we actually will be able to compare game 1 to game 2, and then we can go on and predict game 3 and 4. Especially since the series will then be moving over to Phoenix. So that's going to be super important for us to do that. While you're here, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Whether you catching me live or catch me on the replay, just go ahead and get into the comments. I love to hear what y'all say about the content, about the commentary. And then again, when you do pull up, it's all family here. It's all love here. We talk about the basketball. We try to keep it just basketball. Sometimes we have to get political because of the BS in basketball, but for the most part, we'll keep it just basketball and rock like that. Again, hashtag HCHR, her court, her rules. Like, share, subscribe. You heard? Until then, we're going to be right back on Monday evening, 6:00, with the game 2 recap and the game 3 predictions. Catch y'all on the flip. Happy Saturday again. Have a great weekend, and peace and